Hi, welcome to the first video in what's going to be a series about bearings. I don't know how many videos I'm actually going to do, and I realise that it's highly likely to be an incredibly boring subject for a lot of people, and if that's you, then you don't need to watch it. I just kind of feel like there's an awful lot of questions out there, and I see on social media groups and such people posting questions. It's always a hot topic and brings a million comments. A lot of them are just completely wrong, some of them are good. There's so much mixed information out there that I thought it was worthwhile posting a series of videos with my thoughts and experiences from a technical point of view rather than just out and out opinion. So this is the first video of that series, and I'm going to start by talking a little bit about some technical background, and then I'll move on to actually cleaning bearings. This actually started out as just a video about cleaning bearings, but I realized that it very quickly expanded into more and more as I started to think about the details, so I decided to turn it into a few videos. And in this video there's going to be a lot of talking. Sorry if it's a bit boring, but I'm trying to keep them fairly short so that it doesn't get too mind-numbing. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please subscribe, click the notification bell on the subscription. That way when the next one is online you'll get to know as well. Obviously I'm going to be missing bits and pieces out that I've either forgotten to mention or such, so anyway, I hope you find it useful, and let's get stuck in. Hi, welcome back. Hope you're all good. Today I'm going to do a video about bearings, touchy subject for some. Actually mainly cleaning my bearings and showing you me cleaning them, mainly because I've got open bearings, so there's no shields in them, and they are Bronson raw bearings, no shields in them. They get dust in them after a while. Generally, to keep them good, they need cleaning. You don't have to. I like to keep mine clean, and not only do you need to keep them clean, you should also keep them lubricated, and you can hear, hopefully, although it won't do it now, they have developed a bit of a squeak. Just about hear it. So I can hear that more apparent when I'm riding them, but they're basically a bit dry, got dust in them, and I like to clean them every now and again, so I thought I'd show you me cleaning them. To lubricate them, you can buy speed cream, as the bearing companies call it. Bones and Bronson both make it. It's quite expensive, and you don't really need that. All you really need is some light machine oil, which is otherwise known as sewing machine oil. And I've got some here, comes in a little pot like that. WD-40 people use, that's not the right thing for it, not at all. You can use whatever you want, but WD-40 is not the right thing for lubricating skate bearings. Light machine oil is the best thing that you can use, mainly because it's made for lubrication of fast moving parts. WD-40 is not made for lubrication of fast moving parts, so light machine oil, that's the best thing, and it's really cheap. Buy it as light machine oil or sewing machine oil without any of the fancy branding on it, and it's really cheap, so that's what you should use. And all you really need to do, and I'll show you in the cleaning video, all you really need to do is maybe 2 or 3 drips, literally a drip. You don't need to squirt loads in there. 2 or 3 drips, give it a spin, and riding it will let the oil spread around. You don't want to put too much in there, because the thing about oil, and especially with open bearings, is that oil will make dirt and dust stick to the surface, so it's not ideal. Really, open bearings are just not a good idea at all. And I bought these, I don't even know, I was just trying all kinds of bearings, bought these. They are marginally faster, and that is only because I think they don't have shields on them, and the shields provide a bit of resistance, and so when you spin wheels with shields in them, they slow down quicker because there's the resistance of the bearing rolling around the shield. I've got
a bearing here that's got shields on it. So if you imagine that the ball bearings are rolling around the inside, but they're also in contact with the shield as well, and so that's creating a little bit more resistance on the rolling surface, so they are slightly slower. But the arguments and conversations, as I'm sure you might be aware, go round and round in circles about bearings. What's faster, what's the best? Really what is actually best is just pumping harder and pumping at any opportunity when you're on a transition, not having your wheels so tight that they don't spin at all. Actually, properly designed wheels, and I can go into detail about this, maybe I'll make another video, but properly designed wheels and bearings with a good constructed truck, they will spin with the nuts as tight as they will possibly go. That does count on one factor though, is that you're using spacers between your bearings. When you've got a bearing, a spacer, then a bearing inside the wheel core, that should provide the perfect spacing to be able to do the nut 100% tight, so you can't do it any tighter, and the wheel to still freely spin. And my nuts on here right now are 100% tight. They won't go any tighter with a spanner, and they spin freely. And that's how properly set up wheels and bearings with spacers and speed washers either side should go. If you find you're having to loosen off your nuts very slightly to get them to spin freely, something's not right there. So either the wheel cores are not accurate, or the bearing cage is not accurate, or the speed washers or the bearing spacer is either not there, or again not accurate, or you've got the wrong size. You might get a very slight bit of rattle there. That is actually from these bearings. They're just made to looser tolerances. That's why they spin faster as well, because they're made to looser tolerances. The whole thing about ABEC ratings is another conversation. People say that ABEC ratings don't matter for skateboards. Part of it does, and people think that ABEC ratings is just all about how fast it will go, and that skateboard bearings don't go fast enough to count for ABEC ratings. But also part of the ABEC rating is the machine tolerances, is how well the ball bearings fit inside the cage race, how tight that tolerance is, how snug they fit. And skateboard bearings are not made to very high ABEC ratings in general, mainly to make them go faster, but they won't last as long as a proper ABEC rated machine bearing, not a skateboard bearing. So machine bearings will last a lot longer at accuracy, and that's where the ABEC rating comes in. It's the accuracy of the manufacturing. In the UK in the 80s, we used to use machine bearings in our skateboard wheels because you couldn't buy anything else. I don't know about the rest of the world. We used to use ones by NMB was a big manufacturer, and I have some NMB bearings here. They are sealed, and they have steel sealed casing and shields on them. A lot of old schoolers still buy these. They're really cheap to buy, and they will last a very long time. And because they're sealed, the dirt doesn't get in there very easily, and so they last a long time. They're not quite as fast as things like the Bronson Raws because they're made to a tighter tolerance, and so the bearing inside is in contact with the shield and the race at the whole time. It does mean that they don't rattle, and they're very, very quiet. So if I hold the center core with one pair of fingers and the outer core with another pair of fingers and try and rattle it, there is no movement there at all because they're very accurate bearings. So those are NMB, which are made in England. There were also NSK, NTN, SKF. They're all precision bearings for machine use. But the 608 sizing, that's what size skateboard bearings are. The 608 sizing was kind of adopted by skateboard technology because it was the right size and it fits the purpose. So you can buy some NMB, NSK, NTN or SKF bearings, and they will work in your skateboard. They'll last a very long time. They are very good, and I might put some in just for the fun of it, because that's what, you know, I like to do. I like to experiment. I also have here a skateboard bearing with shields. These are Andale Guy Mariano signature bearings. They're shielded there. I inherited these out of a set of second-hand wheels that I bought. I've never ridden them, don't know what they're like. I would imagine they're a bit like Bones Reds or those kind of thing. But as part of my cleaning video, I will show you how to take the shields off and clean these as well. So these are what I'm riding at the moment. These are the Bronson Raw, and they've got a load of blurb about what they claim on the packaging. Shield-free design, tungsten coated races, audible speed technology. What does that mean? Max impact cage, deep groove raceways, factory fresh quality, made in China. Yeah, I don't know what audible speed technology is, but it sounds a bit like audible marketing to me. Anyway, the bearings are pretty good. They work well. I've also used the Bronson G3s and G2s. Again, they're very good, but very comparable to these Andales, you know, and Bones Reds and all the other generic bearing brands that are largely, I think, all made in the same factory in China and then rebranded with some coloured shields with the company branding on them. That's just speculation, but there's only a finite number of manufacturing facilities creating bearings, I think, like most things. Anyway, so that's enough of the talk about bearings, and I'll get on to cleaning them.
Okay, so there you go. I hope you found that useful. That's the first video. We'll move on to the next one and actually do some cleaning and talking about cleaning different sorts of bearings as well. So stay tuned for that one. Please subscribe. You'll get to see when that one is available, and it also lets me know that you're actually interested in this kind of content. So yeah, give us a like and a subscribe, and thanks very much. I'll see you again soon.